So Holly Howatt joining us, the executive director of the Lafayette Parish Criminal Justice Coordinator Committee. I know that's long, but it's important. But you remember her from several interviews we had before. Joining us for the first time in the studio is Caitlin Graham, who is an assistant public defender. So if you've been listening to news, tracking it, like you normally do here at KPEL, you've heard us talk about the situation with there's no money. There's no money. I mean, there's no money in the state. There's no money here. So, ladies, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having us.
People are talking about the money from the financial side. And we were curious, what does it really mean on the human side? What if something happens and you're arrested and you can't afford a defense attorney, but there's no money at the public defender's office? Caitlin, what happens?
Yeah, so right now what happens if you're arrested in the 15th Judicial District and you can't afford a lawyer, you don't get a lawyer unless you are incarcerated. Mm-hmm. So that means if you're able to bond out, you're put on a wait list. And that wait list right now is about 3,000 people long.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's just about 5 weeks into restriction of services. So that wait list is growing exponentially as we are continuously, we're losing even more lawyers. So yeah, there's a huge human cost to what's happening. This really isn't, it's a budget issue, but the human cost is astronomical. We've got hundreds of people in jail right now without lawyers.
Hundreds in the jail without lawyers.
That's correct. Yeah, because for one reason or another, they have a conflict with our office, and we have had to let go of all of our conflict attorneys. So there is nobody there to represent them.
It's just unbelievable. So, and at this point, what does somebody do? I guess nothing. They would have to have someone come in and maybe sue on their behalf to force money to come into the system.
We're looking at, all possible solutions right now. We actually have law students in town for the week for their spring break from Hofstra University in New York.
Wow.
Who are taking their spring break to meet with these folks who are incarcerated without lawyers so they can gather up their information and then, we can figure out if we want to do habeas writs for them or the ACLU is involved in Orleans Parish for the same issue, and they're suing Orleans Parish public defenders for their wait list, which is really just a fraction of ours. It's a couple hundred people.
Wow.
So I think we can anticipate some kind of litigation, and we hope so because someone needs to be able to speak on their behalf.
And so if we go back to the innocent
financial
and the innocent until proven guilty thing, if you're just charged and bonded out, you're just in this limbo.
You're in a limbo.
And so you may not have whatever crime you are accused of committing. You might have an alibi. You might have everything else proving it, but those charges are just hanging there. They're
Absolutely. And that evidence that might prove your innocence is getting harder and harder to get as time goes on. People go away.
Sure.
Things change. Things happen. So it's a huge problem. And, just the repercussions of being charged with a crime, it could affect your job. Yeah. It could affect your housing.
Well, we're depending on what the crime is, we're going to write a news story about it. Other people are going to write news stories about it.
Right.
Like you said, it is a limbo.
Well, the other thing is that let's say you're on that wait list and you may still have court appearances that you have to take off work and go to court just to say, I don't have a lawyer, I need my case reset. And so the judge may reset it for the next month. He may set it 3 months again. It just is up to the judge's discretion when they want to reset that. So a person may actually have to come to court multiple times just to say, I don't have a lawyer. And think about, taking time off work. Some people don't get paid time off.
Sure.
And, the cost of that as well.
Employers can be extremely strict.
I can't believe that number, Bernie.
I can't
200 in a city like New Orleans, but 3,000 here. It just seems unacceptable.
It's amazing. Now, let me ask you, you were talking about looking at any solutions. Judge Michaud gathered together some folks to try to go, basically from civil to criminal in a crash course, if you will, to try to help or alleviate.
Right.
Is that helping or is it a drop in the bucket at this point, or both?
I think both. There's we really respect the volunteer lawyers who are willing to take this on because it's a huge undertaking.
Yeah.
But it also comes with significant risks both to the lawyer and to the client. People who aren't who don't normally practice criminal law. I mean, they're talking about people's liberty being at stake. And I know people are the lawyers are taking it very seriously, but it still raises some ethical concerns.
Yeah.
And, for the clients, they're kind of getting shuffled around and they don't really understand what's going on and why their lawyer keeps changing. So there's a lot of confusion around that. I think that there are certainly folks who that will help, who just, who their case will be taken care of and in a good way. But it really, it's just one judge in one courtroom.
Right.
So
That's not,
in terms of fixing the
bigger
broader
problem.
It's there's still a lot to be done.
Yeah. Now, what all falls under the public defender's office? Because to me, this is how the average person is thinking right now when they've been hearing this, right? So they're thinking, well, wait, something happened, and I need a public defender, and I'm supposed to get one. Where's the money for my public defender? Where did all the money go? It's not like we've had a huge influx of crime. I mean,
Right.
what happened?
So we're about $600,000 short for the budget, and that comes from two funding sources. One funding source is from the State Public Defender Board.
Okay.
That's about 1/3 of the budget comes from their direct assistance fund. That number decreased by about $300,000 over the past year.
Wow. Due to budgetary issues with the state, I'm assuming?
We're assuming,
Okay. Yeah. So
And then
cut by what?
about 300,000.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's a significant amount of money.
Yeah.
And then the other 2/3 of the funding actually comes from what we describe as a user pay system. So that's
Court fees,
exactly,
the whole bit.
Exactly.
Anything that has to do with anything associated with court or with your
Right.
appearance or whatever.
Right. So that tickets, court costs, fines, fees.
Did
And
that significantly decrease?
it did by about $300,000.
But do we know why it decreased?
There's a lot of speculation as to why. One possible issue is actually the speed cameras. Those are kind of replacing a lot of in-person
actual
ticket writing.
Traffic officers being out there
Right.
enforcing traffic.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And none of the funds generated from those
Right.
cameras
Yeah,
get
the cameras
distributed.
it doesn't come here.
Right. Exactly.
So, and the 40 or whatever percentage it is, it goes to Lafayette Consolidated Government.
Right.
Yeah, but it doesn't come into the public defender budget. Right.
Right.
Okay, I see.
Right. So there's, and that number has always been very volatile and very difficult to determine in advance, how much money is going to be generated month by month.
Sure.
And, for one reason or another, that number has been down significantly over the past fiscal year.
What other things have been down that affect that? Or do we know specifically?
I don't have an answer for that, because there's no decrease in the amount of cases that are being processed.
Yeah, that's what I wondered.
Yeah, the public defender's office handles about 12,000 cases per year, and that number really hasn't changed significantly over the past couple of years. So we're not sure, why that number is down so much.
Okay, we're going to. Yes, I'm sorry, Holly.
Oh, that's okay. I just wanted to get in real
Holly.
quick. So one of the things is when the economy is bad, when unemployment rises, people can't pay their court costs, fines, and fees.
I would bet.
And
yeah.
so then they're not able to pay, so they don't pay. One of the other things we're doing with the CJCC, the Criminal Justice Coordinating Committee, is looking at court costs, fines, and fees. Right now, we don't know how much money is assessed every year. We know how much money is collected in the sheriff's office, but we don't know how much money is assessed. So we're working together with the clerk's office, the DA, Judge Marilyn Castle, to try to figure out how much money is assessed and some things we can do, such as online payments and things like that, to kind of increase people when they are, to hold people that can pay accountable for paying their court costs, fines, and fees.
Yeah, because it would be so much easier, I can get online and I can do this and I can pay this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. We shall continue our discussion this morning with Holly Howatt and with Caitlin Graham. And we're going to talk about this as it continues about what does happen from this point on, because the problem is only going to get
And you have to take care of the backlog to ever get
entrenched.
current, you know?
Right.
Because I think if we could all agree, the system should be, hey, you're charged with this crime. I need a public defender. So you can contact someone who's ready to help you.
Right.
Yeah. Holly Howatt, the executive director of the Lafayette Parish Criminal Justice Coordinator Committee, and Caitlin Graham, assistant public defender. You've been hearing us talk about, okay, well, there's no money. But so what is the impact and how can people discuss this issue? You were talking about a forum that you'll have coming up.
Yes, on Tuesday, April 5th at 1 p.m. at the Sheriff's Office Public Safety Complex, we'll be having a forum about the public defenders' financial crisis and its impact not only with the public defender's office, but the ripple effects throughout. You know, how does that impact the jail? How does that impact the courts? How does that impact the DA's office? So we'll have Dr. Amy Stearns from UL Lafayette. She's a criminal justice professor there. Caitlin Graham will be there, and Paul Marks, the chief public defender. Keith Stutes, the district attorney, and Judge Marilyn Castle will also be there.
I'm curious as to what does happen with the jail. I mean, we already had a problem with too many people in there, and then we have another facility, and they're trying to get some people rehabilitated. A lot of great programs going on there, but what do you do with this situation to some of these people? If you can't afford a lawyer, are you going to be able to afford to bail out? No.
They can't bail out. So what will happen at some point when the jail reaches capacity, they have policies and procedures in place to release the less serious, more nonviolent people. You know, kind of get those people out. But again, it takes the judge's orders. It's a very complex process, and this justice just really grinds to a halt whenever one piece of it is not working. So
it's just unfathomable to me that this is the situation. Now, Caitlin, you mentioned two important things during the break. One, that constitutionally we have to be funded. Is it in the 15th JDC?
No, I mean, it's just there's this, the Sixth Amendment right to a fair trial includes the right to counsel.
Our state constitution.
And the federal constitution, require.
But I meant here in the state. So there's no going to follow specific.
Nothing specific outside of
just the general
amendment.
Yeah,
right.
Now the other thing you mentioned, we were asking about Orleans Parish during the break, but you had mentioned Plaquemine Parish.
That's correct. I believe on February 16th or 17th, Plaquemine Parish Public Defender's Office shut down. I mean, it no longer operates.
At all.
At all. They ran out of money, and there was no more money available from the State Public Defender Board. The chief defender from Plaquemine Parish went to the State Public Defender Board meeting that was held, I believe, February 15th or 16th. And there was just no money there for them. So he was forced to shut his doors the next day. So I don't know the numbers on how many folks are without a lawyer in that parish right now, but there is literally no one doing that job.
Now, what does it mean, or what could it mean for us potentially down the road? Because many someones, I guess would be the way I'd term it. That's still wrong, but okay. These people who need representation, they don't get representation. They're going to find somebody to help them sue. So litigation costs could be astronomical.
Right. The cost of litigation, the amount of court time that's going to take, compounded by, the backlog of people that if and when we get back up and running, the amount of manpower and money that it's going to take just to clear the backlog, let alone, move forward with the new cases. Nobody knows those numbers or what that's going to look like, but I think we can safely assume that, it's going to be a disaster. It already is a disaster, and it really, the problems are just getting worse.
I think you just have this one column of all these 3,000 people. I would have to imagine it's a mixture of violent and non-violent offenses, which hanging in the balance, if I bond out on a violent offense, ultimately the public is still at risk for that person who, if they would be found guilty, might commit more crimes, as opposed to the non-violent. It almost seems like there should be a way. Are we talking about excess speeding tickets and DWI, that sort of thing? Are we talking about rape and armed robbery and those sorts of things?
I would
is
assume
their priority?
They're going to maybe set the bond so high too that maybe someone. Well, I don't know. That could be considered punitive. I guess I don't know. Wow.
Yeah, bonds are set kind of according to a number of factors are considered when they're setting a bond, including the severity or the seriousness of the charge, people's prior criminal record, their flight risk status. So generally speaking, less nonviolent or less violent, less serious charges have a significantly lower bond than more serious charges. But still, Holly, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe something like 60 or 70% of the parish jail is a misdemeanor. People charged with misdemeanors
that is correct. Yes, most of them are charged with misdemeanors, and a lot of these are people that cannot afford a lawyer and are wait until they're assigned a public defender so that the public defender can then make the case for them to be, their bond to be reduced to amount they can pay, or to just kind of be released with some certain bonding conditions, such as like an ankle monitor or checking in or something like that.
Yeah, but even if you have all of those people, somebody has to monitor them too, if it's under that kind of situation.
Right.
But it's actually less expensive.
Is it to do
yes,
that?
it's about, it costs on average $54 a day to house an inmate. For an ankle monitor, it costs somewhere between $5 and $7 a day. And a lot of times that fee is placed onto the defendant. And so
they
it's
end up
not,
paying
so then
it.
it's not costing taxpayers any money. The $54 a day, that's coming out of taxpayers' pockets.